Many English learners have the same problem. They understand English, they can read it, they can even write simple sentences, but when it is time to speak, everything stops. The mind becomes empty, words do not come, the heart beats fast. And the biggest problem is this: inside the head, thoughts are coming in the native language, not in English. Then the person tries to translate those thoughts into English, and that is where speaking becomes slow, stressful, and confusing. If this sounds familiar to you, then this video is for you. Today, we are going to talk about how to think in English and speak in English naturally, not like a robot, not with memorization, but in a real, practical way that actually works. First, we need to understand one very important truth. You cannot speak English fluently if you are thinking in another language. Translation is the biggest enemy of fluency. When you think in your native language and then translate into English, your brain is doing double work. First, it creates the idea. Then it tries to find English words. Then it checks grammar. Then it worries about mistakes. By the time all this happens, the moment to speak is already gone. This is why fluent speakers do not translate. They think directly in English. Their thoughts come in English. That is why they speak fast and naturally. The good news is this: thinking in English is not a talent, it is a habit, and habits can be trained. Now let us understand why the brain prefers your native language. Your native language is emotional. It is connected to your childhood, your family, your daily life. English, for many learners, is only a subject, something you studied in school, something connected to exams, marks, and mistakes. So your brain does not feel safe using English freely. It feels like a test language. To change this, you must change the relationship between your brain and English. English must become a life language, not a study language. When English becomes part of your daily thinking, your brain slowly accepts it as normal.
Let us talk about how thoughts actually work. Thoughts are not full sentences. Thoughts are images, feelings, and ideas. Language comes later. When a fluent English speaker sees rain, the thought is not a full sentence. It is just rain, cold, umbrella, wet shoes. Then words come naturally. But many learners try to force full English sentences in their head. This makes thinking slow. So the first change you need is this: do not try to think in perfect English sentences. Think in simple English words and ideas. Simple thoughts create fluent speech. For example, instead of thinking, "I am going to the market because I need to buy vegetables for dinner," just think market, vegetables, dinner. This is thinking in English. Simple, clear, fast. When you speak, your brain will automatically connect these ideas into sentences. Now let us talk about inner voice. Everyone has an inner voice. You talk to yourself all day in your mind. The problem is that this inner voice is usually in your native language. To think in English, you must slowly change this inner voice. Start with very small things. When you wake up, say in your mind, "I am awake." When you brush your teeth, think brushing teeth. When you walk, think walking. When you feel tired, think "I am tired." These are small thoughts, but they train your brain to use English naturally. At first, this will feel strange. Your brain will want to go back to your native language. That is normal. Do not fight it aggressively. Just gently bring your thoughts back to English. Over time, English thinking becomes easier. Now let us talk about speaking. Many learners say, "I think in English, but I still cannot speak." The reason is fear. Fear of mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of sounding stupid. This fear blocks speech. You must understand one thing clearly: mistakes are not a problem. Silence is the real problem. When you stay silent, you do not practice. When you do not practice, you do not improve. Fluent speakers became fluent by making thousands of mistakes. You only hear the final result, not the struggle.
So you must allow yourself to speak badly before you speak well. This is not failure, this is training. One powerful method to connect thinking and speaking is speaking to yourself. Many learners feel shy doing this. They think it is strange, but this habit is extremely powerful. When you speak to yourself, there is no pressure, no listener, no judgment, only practice. Talk about your day, describe what you see, explain what you are doing. For example, "I am cooking food," "I am cutting vegetables." The food smells good. Simple sentences are enough. The goal is not complexity. The goal is flow. When you speak out loud, your brain uses more areas. It hears the sound. It feels mouth movement. It creates stronger memory connections. This helps both thinking and speaking. Now let us talk about input. You cannot think in English if you do not feed your brain with English. Thinking comes from exposure. If you only study grammar rules and word lists, your brain does not learn how English feels. You must listen to English daily. Simple English, clear English, not too fast, not too difficult. When you listen, do not translate, just understand the meaning. Let English flow into your brain naturally. When you listen regularly, your brain starts copying patterns, sentence structure, common phrases, natural expressions. Then, when you think, these patterns come automatically. Reading also helps. When you read simple English stories, articles, or dialogues, you see how thoughts are expressed in English. This shapes your thinking style. Over time, your thoughts start forming in English naturally. Now let us talk about vocabulary. Many learners think they cannot think in English because they do not know enough words. This is partly true, but there is a deeper problem. They try to learn too many words at once.
You do not need advanced vocabulary to think in English. Fluent thinking uses simple words. Most daily conversations use basic vocabulary. If you know common words and how to use them, you can express almost anything. Instead of learning new words randomly, focus on using the words you already know. Use them in thoughts. Use them in speech. Repetition creates familiarity. Familiarity creates confidence. When you learn a new word, do not just memorize it. Use it in your mind. Create a simple sentence. Connect it to your life. This makes the word part of your thinking system. Now, let us talk about grammar. Grammar is important, but grammar should not control your thinking. Many learners stop speaking because they are checking grammar in their head. This kills fluency. Fluent speakers do not think about grammar while speaking. Grammar is automatic for them. For learners, grammar becomes automatic only through usage, not through thinking. So when you speak or think, focus on meaning, not on rules. Even broken English is okay. Communication is the goal. Accuracy will improve naturally with time. Another powerful habit is thinking in English about emotions. Emotions are strong memory triggers. When you feel happy, sad, angry, or excited, try to name that feeling in English. I feel happy. I feel nervous. I am excited. This creates emotional connection with English. When English becomes connected to your emotions, it becomes real. It stops being a subject and starts being a language. Now let us talk about speed. Thinking in English feels slow at first. This is normal. Your brain is learning a new system. Do not rush. Speed comes with repetition. Think slowly but clearly. Allow pauses. Even fluent speakers pause. Silence is not a weakness, it is part of natural speech. One very important mindset shift is this. Do not wait until you are ready. You will never feel fully ready. Start now. Start imperfectly. Progress comes from action, not from preparation. Your goal is not to sound like a native speaker. Your goal is to express yourself clearly. Accent does not matter. Mistakes do not matter. Clarity matters. Now, let us talk about environment. If English is only present when you study, your brain treats it as temporary. But if English is present in your daily life, your brain takes it seriously. Change small things. Set your phone to English. Think in English while doing daily tasks. Watch short English videos. Follow English content. These small exposures add up. Consistency is more important than intensity. 10 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week. Daily contact keeps English active in your brain. Sleep also plays a role. When you sleep, your brain organizes what you learned. If you practice English and then sleep well, your thinking improves. A tired brain struggles to think in any language. Finally, be patient with yourself. Thinking and speaking in English is a process. Some days will feel good, some days will feel frustrating. This is normal. Do not judge your progress daily. Look at progress over weeks and months. Remember this, you already know more English than you think. The problem is not knowledge, the problem is confidence and habit. Build the habit. confidence will follow. When you think in English, speaking becomes natural. When speaking becomes natural, fear disappears. And when fear disappears, English becomes part of who you are. Keep practicing, keep thinking, keep speaking. Trust the process. One day you will notice something surprising. English thoughts will come without effort, words will flow, and you will realize that fluency was never far away. It was always waiting for practice. If you stay consistent, English will stop being difficult. It will become familiar. And when English becomes familiar, it becomes yours.